Season's FA Cup winners Chelsea. The domestic programme of games doesn't start till next weekend, but this hors d'oeuvre to the main course features so many flavours and spices from around the world. Footballers from around a dozen different countries are on view today, from South America to South London. The English Premiership has become a global village, and no club underlines that more than Chelsea. So the managers and teams about to hit the top of the tunnel when the fans will get their first view of the teams today. The champions Manchester United against the cup winners of last season, Chelsea. Listen to the reception. The summer is officially over. Football has returned, and returned with two of the current greats of the English game. A year ago, Fabien Barthez was playing for Monaco against Nice in the French equivalent of the Charity Shield. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink was preparing a season with Atletico Madrid. Now both have been sucked into the English game. Hasselbaink's second stint as a Premiership player. He played for Leeds for a couple of seasons before he went to Spain. Franco Zola, who will play up front for Chelsea today, he's been preferred to Tor Andre Flo. Teddy Sheringham, surprise inclusion ahead of Dwight Yorke in the United attack. Player who won the treble for Manchester United in such dramatic fashion. Those memories of the treble still relatively fresh in the memory. Though it's more than a year ago now. That's why Manchester United deemed their season such a disappointment last year, when they couldn't scale the same sort of heights as they did. David Beckham, who's had a real drastic haircut. The guest of honour today, His Royal Highness the Duke of York. A slight pause now for the national anthem. Duke of York, the new president of the Football Association. And he now will be introduced to the two lineups, starting with Manchester United. Keane, the Manchester United captain, introducing the players. Ryan Giggs, one of the old heads now in this United team. Teddy Sheringham, Paul Scholes, who had a marvellous Euro 2000 for England. And the manager, Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm not sure how good the Prince is at foreign languages, but he might be stretched here. Dutchman Ed de Hoy, Nigerian Celestine Babayaro, and Italian Franco Zola, Dutchman Mario Melchiot, Frenchman Marcel Desailly, Mario Stanic a Croat, Frank Leboeuf a Frenchman, Gus Poyet Uruguayan, Roberto Di Matteo, an Italian, and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink, the new arrival Dutchman, and Luca Vialli, the manager, of course, former Italian international. It just underlines how many foreign stars Chelsea have at their club these days. Ken Bates, their enigmatic chairman, has said quite simply there isn't the quality of English players available to sign. And that's a problem for Kevin Keegan as he tries to mastermind England's qualification for the next World Cup. England's game with Germany here in October will be the final match to be played under these famous Twin Towers before Wembley is demolished. So for this final club game to be played at this famous stadium, let's check now on the two teams, starting with Chelsea. Well, captain Dennis Wise, as we've said, is the only Englishman in the FA Cup holders starting 11, which includes two of Chelsea's summer signings. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink is back in English football after a one-year absence. He's signed in from Madrid for £15 million. And there's a Croat too in Mario Stanic. Stanic will play on the right-hand side of midfield. He's joined from Parma for £6 million. Hasselbaink's ability to score goals will be core to Chelsea's success or failure in the coming months. The club have had disappointing returns from Pierluigi Casiraghi and Chris Sutton. This is their third attempt to sign a regular goalscorer. Manchester United have made their third attempt to sign a replacement for Peter Schmeichel. Fabian Barthez is United's only major summer purchase, and he's hoping to succeed where the likes of Massimo Taibi and Mark Bosnich didn't quite live up to the billing. Jaap Stam is still some way off full fitness, so Ronnie Johnson gets a chance at the heart of United's defence. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is preferred to Andy Cole, who's not fully fit in United's attack. Teddy Sheringham starts the game ahead of Dwight York alongside Solskjaer. David Beckham is ready for a new season in United's colours. He suffered a slight back injury in training on Thursday, but was deemed fully fit to play. Paul Scholes, who scored here against Newcastle in the FA Cup final in '99. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink, £15 million to bring him back to the English game. Fabian Barthez, United's one major summer import, and a Euro 2000 winner in the last few weeks. 32 countries are tuning into today's game, such as the fascination of English football, and these two sides are expected to be amongst the hot favourites to be champions of England in 9 months' time. Chelsea are 13-2 for the title, Manchester United 5-4 on to retain their crown. The 27th Wembley FA Charity Shield is underway. It'll be the last one before the Bulldozers move in as Wembley is rebuilt. Frank Leboeuf clears the ball. Manchester United lost to Arsenal in the last two editions of the Charity Shield. It's not stopped them going on to win the championship though. Here's Babayaro, knocked forward towards Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink, but Harry Neville was in the way. Very direct footballer, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink. Few graceful touches, but my goodness, an explosive shot. And here's Zola. Beckham. Keane. Beckham again, chipped forward, but Leboeuf will be there. Bright sunlight for Alex Ferguson and the Manchester United bench. Incidentally, the only team to beat Chelsea here in the last 28 years have been Manchester United, such as Chelsea's impressive Wembley record, but United do have a bit of a hoodoo over them. I wonder if that will continue today. Here's Irwin. Mario Melchiot, all the way back to fellow countryman Ed de Hoy. Got by Silvestre. Here's Mario Stanic, who's joined the club from Parma. And there's a foul by Teddy Sheringham on Melchiot, who... Well, Sheringham claimed Melchiot took a dive. Melchiot again, links up with Stanic. And tries to get away from Scholes. Stanic. Di Matteo. Oh, rather frenetic in these early stages. I wonder, once the bright sunlight takes its toll and the players get a bit heat exhausted, whether the pace will slow down a bit. That's Babayaro's cross, looking for Hasselbank. And he ran the ball out of play. A really explosive tempo, but his shooting's explosive too. Good ball in here by Babayaro. And Hasselbank wasn't offside, Silvestre played him on. Sheringham. Solskjaer tries to control the ball, but Marcel Desailly, a really good interception. Zola. It's over the head of Wise. And bowled out by Barthez. Roy Keane. Manchester United lost 5-0 to Chelsea last season in the league, but United's only lost to Chelsea in the last 10 meetings of the clubs. Scholes, as Alex Ferguson was saying this week, when Manchester United lose, they tend to lose by a hatful. Two French internationals, teammates in the successful Euro 2000 winning team. Barthez, and this side. This is Stanic. Mocked up by Keane. Gary Neville. Driven straight towards Stanic. There's a lot of misplaced passes early on here. This is Wise. And there's another misplaced ball. This is Manchester United's third meeting with Chelsea at Wembley. In 1994, United won the FA Cup final by 4-0 as they clinched the double. And they also beat Chelsea on penalties 4-2 after a 1-1 draw in the 1997 Charity Shield here. No foul on Hasselbank by Beckham, who's played the ball forward as Hasselbank remonstrates with the referee, Mike Riley. Welcome back to English football, Mr. Hasselbank. Desailly. Piet. Zola. Stanic. Fixed off by Di Matteo. Back to Melchiot, whose first team place could be under threat with the arrival of Christian Panucci, the former Italian international, who arrived last week. Now there is a foul on Hasselbank by Ronnie Johnson. A bit of aggression up front is what Chelsea feel they've missed in the last couple of seasons. They never really had it with Chris Sutton. Unfortunately, Pierluigi Casiraghi wasn't allowed to show it because of injury. Hasselbank, very much the sort of man they've been looking for. Here's Stanic with a header. Away by Keane, and here's Scholes. Good ball by Sheringham as United break. Beckham arriving to Keane's right. Scholes. Beckham. There was a foul by Frank Leboeuf on Teddy Sheringham. And it's really an ideal position for David Beckham to try one of his curling, dipping free kicks towards Ed de Hoy's goal. First real test perhaps of the Chelsea keeper. And of course this new 10-yard rule is in force today. The rugby style 10-yard enforcement. The offensive ball has to get back 10 yards, otherwise the ball's move forward. Here's Beckham. Struck Dennis Wise. Giggs. And Scholes. Silvestre. That's a fabulous ball to try and pick out Gary Neville. It was a great idea, and Gary Neville very quick to react, but Silvestre's ball, just a bit of pace on it. It gathered pace off a very lush playing surface. Jaap Stam, who was not deemed fit enough to start the game, but we are told he will be involved at some stage. Stam, who came back from Euro 2000 with a slight Achilles tendon injury. Hasselbank. Wise. Zola's made a run ahead of him here. Just unable to spoon the ball through towards his colleague. Here's Hasselbank. Touched on towards Stanic. Stanic arriving. And Stanic wastes the first real opportunity of this Charity Shield game. Look where Stanic is, right at the bottom of your picture here. And Manchester United were very stretched. Sadly for Chelsea, Barthez wasn't stretched. Ooh, it was that close. It wasn't that close actually, it might have looked a bit closer to Luca Vialli from his position on the dugout. And here's Leboeuf now for Chelsea. Stanic, who wasted that really good opportunity. And he's forced the ball in towards Zola, kept out by Johnson. Johnson again. Beckham. Sheringham. Foul by Dennis Wise. And Teddy Sheringham has gone down in a real heap here. He got a bit of a whack on the ankle. And Mike Riley just having a word with Roberto Di Matteo. I think it was a case if Di Matteo didn't get him, Wise was there just to make sure. Manchester United no strangers to playing in the Charity Shield. This is their 5th successive appearance in this fixture. Although they've been unsuccessful in their last 2 appearances. Malfield, former Ajax player, dispossessed by Dennis Irwin. Giggs. Well, Giggs was busily pulling the jersey of his opposite number 11, Dennis Wise. Manchester United slightly fortunate to get the free kick there. Di Matteo. Hasselbank, that's a good layoff to Poyet. Scholes. Keane. Sheringham, or rather Solskjaer, held the ball up rather well. This is Beckham. Neville. Keane. Scholes. Stanic quickly in to deny Giggs. Silvestre quickly in to deny Hasselbank, but Chelsea can break here with Gianfranco Zola. Poyet's up in support. Stanic. Stanic again, he's trying to pick out Zola, but the flag's up. Gianfranco Zola was unaware, he'd crept into an offside position. Silvestre. And here's Gary Neville, who was on duty for England at Euro 2000. Actually missed last season's Charity Shield with a groin injury. Roberto Di Matteo with a misplaced pass. This is Irwin and Scholes. Keane. That's a lovely touch by Keane. Trying to pick out Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but unable to do so. Poyet and Keane get in each other's way, and well, the football season is well and truly upon us again. And surprise, surprise, Roy Keane is involved. Having said that, he didn't react first after that challenge. It was a Uruguayan, Gus Poyet, who was angered. And once Poyet did the pushing and shoving, Keane was embroiled in another fracas. Keane was the professional here, but Poyet didn't like it. Roy Keane is apparently going to take legal advice over some newspaper allegations about his off-the-field activities, which relates to his competitive nature, let's put it that way. That's Leboeuf. Poyet was being held back by Gary Neville, but the referee's wave play on. This is Zola, free to aim at if he can get over a cross. He's pulled it back to Wise. And Manchester United have got back in numbers now. Zola. Still Zola. Stanic. Two chances for Stanic, but the scoreline remains 0-0. That one was a harder one than his first, but it was teed up delightfully here by Zola, who stood the ball up at the back post, and Stanic was up over the head of Dennis Irwin, and he's misplaced a header again. Chelsea just beginning to make the early running and creating the better chances. So far, Ed de Hoy hasn't had a save to make with any note. Not that Fabian Barthez could do anything about those attempts by Stanic. And here's Hasselbank. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank screws it wide. Well, if Chelsea fail to win the Charity Shield, they'll look back to these three chances now. Two for Stanic, one for Hasselbank, which could well cost them dear. Terrific upper body strength here by Hasselbank to shrug off Silvestre, but the end product was disappointing. Keane. Manchester United have had the alarm call. I wonder if they'll wake up. Zola. Melchiot. Game almost exclusively being played in the Manchester United half of the field. You don't see that very often in English football. Stanic. Luca Vialli has said that Chelsea sometimes don't take all their opportunities, and it's an early theme in the early 16 minutes, or the first 16 minutes, should I say, of this game. Keane, one back by Chelsea. This is Stanic, up towards Poyet, and Wise arriving here. Hasselbank again, and Barthez had to take command of the situation. De Hoy with a very casual clearance to his central defender, Frank Leboeuf. Chelsea quickly in their stride, looking the more likely to alter the scoreline, it has to be said. Leboeuf shrugs off Giggs and drifts round Keane before he was upended. Jaap Stam could be coming on for Manchester United. We understand Mikael Silvestre has injured himself in the opening 17 minutes of the game. Zola on towards Poyet. And Barthez again with a commanding piece of goalkeeping. That's exactly what Manchester United have been lacking in the last 12 months since the great Dane Peter Schmeichel moved on to Portuguese football. Picture Silvestre's limping badly, to be honest. Beckham. And here's Frank Leboeuf. Hasselbank. It is easy for Barthez, real colourful goalkeeper, Barthez. Flamboyant character. Scholes. Beckham. Eyes has stabbed it on, but Keane's galloped after the ball. Throw into Manchester United, who might be about to make this substitution now. Indeed, it's Silvestre who's going to limp off and be replaced by Jaap Stam, who only began pre-season training 9 days ago with that grueling Euro 2000 behind him. He's had a recent Achilles tendon injury. Scholes. So Stam on for Silvestre. We said we might see Jaap Stam at some stage of this game. Scholes, Giggs, and Solskjaer. Manchester United's first chance. Goes to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's scored 5 times in United's pre-season games so far. Wasn't an easy chance. This is a big season for Solskjaer. So often he's in the shadows of the likes of York and Cole, but he's scored so many important goals for United. Many feel this is his time to stake a regular first-team place. Taught Andre Flo, who's having to sit out the start of this game. There's a lot of transfer speculation about him during the summer. Solskjaer. Wins United a free kick in a dangerous position. We're almost at the midway point of the first half. With David Beckham standing over this free kick for United. Sheringham's ready. This side he's keeping a close eye on him though. It's Beckham. They all missed it and Solskjaer almost crept in ahead of Gus Poyet there. Such terrific dip and swerve on these Beckham free kicks. So many teams find it difficult to defend them. That was no exception. Pjanic. Giggs. Leboeuf. Got his boot to the ball, it's flicked on by Poyet, and Hasselbank's onside here. Can he finish? Yes, he can. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank begins to repay his massive transfer fee. This is the 4th time he's played against Manchester United, and this is his 3rd goal against them. But his first in Chelsea colours. He's bluffed 1 chance in this game, but his second chance absolutely on target. Bit of a lucky ricochet perhaps. I think that would have to go down as a goal for Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink. Hasselbaink has everything it takes to be a Chelsea hero, especially if he scores important goals like that. His first goal at Wembley. Remember, some of the older players featuring today will probably feel this is their last chance of playing at the game of English football before it's rebuilt. It will be opened again till May 2003. Mario Stenic, Chelsea very much on top, and now they have a goal to crown their superiority. Here's Zola, and Stenic, it's a good piece of goalkeeping by Barthez, which saves the day before Mario Stenic could whip round the back of the United defence. And United in danger of being swamped just for the time being. Beckham. Solskjaer, Irwin's cross, cut out by Marcel Desailly. Stenic. Hasselbaink trying to get the better of Stam. Oh. Two Dutch players absolutely committed to the cause, Jaap Stam and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink. Not too surprisingly, it's the left-hand end of the ground making all the noise where the blue favours are displayed. Manchester United have shown down the years that it's never clever to write them off. Well, they've started sluggishly. I feel they're going to have to up the tempo a little bit to compete with Chelsea in this game. Here's Zola. And Di Matteo. Has a bit of a habit of scoring goals here, including the winner in last season's FA Cup final against Aston Villa. Keane. And Giggs. Oh, he's been caught very high there by Frank Leboeuf. It was all apologies. It was a reckless challenge, but I think Frank Leboeuf knew that. Maybe his apology to the referee saved him a yellow card. Giggs. Broken to Beckham. And Solskjaer's round the back here for United. Well, it was a peculiar attempt on goal. He had Sheringham to put the ball back to, but wanted to shoot from a nigh impossible angle. It wouldn't have been easy to cut the ball back, it was moving pretty sharpish. Irwin. And Wise helps it back to Ed de Hoy. So far it's been relatively easy for Chelsea. With that reshuffle at the back has just unsettled Manchester United. Hasselbank's goal separates the teams. And here's Hasselbaink again. Hasselbank. Chip through to Di Matteo. And it's a goal kick. I doubt whether Sir Alex Ferguson would have wanted Jaap Stam thrown into the Charity Shield at such an early stage. Maybe his lack of fitness was very much a plus for Chelsea, as Di Matteo almost wriggled through there. Keane. Jaap Stam. In his game, I doubt there's a better defender anywhere in Europe than Jaap Stam. Solly, Keane. Delivered forward towards Solskjaer, in a menacing position here for United. And Stanic did well to dispossess Solskjaer. Floyd Hasselbank suggesting to Stanic that a more accurate ball might have been laid forward towards him. Babayaro. And Chelsea have the free kick. Celestine Babayaro has been called up for the Nigerian Olympic squad, which is due to fly out to Sydney at the start of September, which could take a big chunk out of the English season for him. Of course, Chelsea do have Graham Lasso nearing fitness again after his long layoff. So one of the Chelsea substitutes. Sheringham. Remember, United haven't got their first choice strike partnership of last season on the pitch at the moment, so they do have the option of bringing on Andy Cole and Dwight Yorke should things get a little bit more difficult for them. Certainly felt he was fouled there rather than the other way round. And a rather petulant throw of the football earns the inevitable boos from the Chelsea fans. I don't think the throw was taken from the right place. Incidentally, this is the first time Wembley Stadium has seen a match where the new rule change, or the experiment, I think, to give it its proper name, has been implemented, this 10-yard rule. Stanic. Melchiot quick into the tackle, but so too was Giggs. Barthez. That's more like an impersonation of Peter Schmeichel, maybe what Alex Ferguson wanted. The applause you can hear is because United substitutes are warming up behind the goal. Melchiot turns away from Solskjaer. Incidentally, the two Premiership meetings of these sides last season produced plenty of goals, 10 in total. Chelsea absolutely slaughtered Manchester United 5-0 at Stamford Bridge. And then in the return game at Old Trafford, United beat Chelsea 3-2. They've had one early goal so far, scored by Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. As David Beckham has some defensive work to do. Get with the header. Scholes. Irwin. Sheringham. And Wise quick in the tackle, and Roy Keane was grabbing hold of the jersey of Gus Poyet then, just to try and hold up the Chelsea counter-attack. a real sign that Manchester United are being squeezed here by Chelsea. Poyet got the flick on ahead of Jaap Stam, but unable to pick out a blue-shirted collie. And here's Beckham for Manchester United. And cut out by Frank Leboeuf. That's not the Manchester United sort of passing we expect from the champions of England. Jaap Stam. It's a bit more like the old Jaap Stam we know and love. Irwin. Great touch by Babbayaro. Ryan Giggs did some sterling defensive work there. Crossing to an unfavoured right-hand side. Philip Neville, who's had his share of criticism in the pre-season games following that unfortunate incident while playing for Kevin Keegan's England in the Romania-England game when he brought down VRL Moldovan, which ultimately settled the game in England's destiny. Giggs. Sheringham. Very strong tackle by the Dutchman, Mario Melchiot. Scholes. Irwin. Paul Scholes. Ronnie Johnson. Giggs. Solskjaer. There's one or two signs of Manchester United beginning to put a couple of attacks together now. Beckham. Beckham again. Giggs. Strikes me Manchester United's passing is off key. Stanic. The Croatian international from Chelsea, signed from the Italian club Parma. He's another former Parma player, Gianfranco Zola. Keane. Paul Scholes, the England international. Dennis Irwin, who's had 10 years now at Old Trafford. Scholes again. United are seeing more of the ball. Sheringham. Irwin. Unforced error by Keane, and Chelsea can counter-attack here with Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. And there's Babbayaro arriving to his left, Poyet and Zola to his right. Here's Zola. Oh, and a mistake by Irwin. Certainly fooled Barthez, who stares rather accusingly at his left back. It almost cost United a second goal. Here's Zola. Di Matteo. Came off Poyet and was a bit easier for the United keeper. Manchester United making their 33rd Wembley appearance. Their fans certainly know the way down to North London. A bit of a whack on the head here for Frank Leboeuf, who collided with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Here's that incident involving Irwin and Barthez. I wonder what Peter Schmeichel would have said to Dennis Irwin after this little incident, which almost cost United a second goal. sign of a replacement for Chelsea, so I think they feel they can stitch up Frank Leboeuf and push him back into the action again. Three of the players have taken the opportunity to have a drinks break. Zola, who's playing in tandem alongside Gus Poyet, just behind Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink. Although Chelsea are only one goal ahead, they really had three very good opportunities prior to then to finding a goal. And maybe Manchester United will be hoping just to keep Chelsea out for the remaining 7 minutes or so of this first half. Should they do that, might, with the aid of one or two substitutions, feel the stronger side in the second period. Graham Rex and Luca Vialli, I'm sure will be pleased that Chelsea have very much been in the ascendancy, pass the ball better than their United counterparts, and apart from one or two wasteful finishes, have done well in this first half. Step. Poyet, and here's Zola now for Chelsea. Forward towards Hasselbaink. Oh, and intercepted. Leboeuf. Solskjaer's won it. And he's put Sheringham through, who tried to link up with Solskjaer again. Beckham. Yeah, that's a very good defensive header by Malchiot, which denied Ryan Giggs an opportunity to threaten Chelsea's goal. And Babayaro now trying to stretch Manchester United once again. Here's Roberto Di Matteo. Wise. Malchiot, who's galloped 60 yards to help the ball on towards Stanic. Stanic's cross. Poyet arriving. And Gary Neville ushered out the way by Barthez. He's only allowed to keep the ball 6 seconds. Another rule change. 4-step rule has gone, and the goalkeeper's allowed to be in possession of the ball for 6 seconds. Scholes. And a rather disappointed expression was on the face of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when Scholes hoisted the ball over his head. As we move into the last 5 minutes of the first half. Sheringham, Giggs, Solskjaer. This looks more menacing by Manchester United. Beckham. Wise. Poyet. Trying to pick out Zola, who's made a run down the inside right channel. And his quick thinking almost draws a save out of Barthez. From our commentary position, we were right behind that shot from Gianfranco Zola, and it did miss by some distance, but you could see what he was trying to do. Chelsea start their Premiership campaign next weekend at home to West Ham before an away trip to Bradford. And to be honest, they look just about primed by Luca Vialli for the start of the new season. Owen. Scholes. Get away from Poyet. Trying to pick out Ole Gunnar Solskjaer here, but Babayaro comfortably in control. Stamp. Manchester United really have lacked menace in this first half, and that's so unlike the team managed by Sir Alex Ferguson. always felt last season when they were at their best they could score goals from any point of the field. Neville. Sheringham. Di Matteo picks out Stanic, who was looking for support from his Dutch fullback Melchior, but he goes instead for Gus Poyet, and he has support from Roberto Di Matteo, and there could be problems here for Manchester United. Di Matteo, Hasselbaink waiting for the cross, and in the end Barthez read the situation perfectly and sets Manchester United going on the counter-attack immediately with David Beckham. Sheringham. Gary Neville. Beckham again. Scholes. Giggs. Scholes. Solskjaer waits on the back post. Scholes is posted around about the penalty spot, but the cross is repelled by Desailly. Keane. And flicked on by Sheringham, and then Desailly. An enormous clearance. Marcel Desailly, who's having another giant game for Chelsea. Played so well at Euro 2000 for France. Zola. Neville. Sheringham. Touched by Beckham. Beckham looking to pick out Scholes. Well, there was just a hint of handball there when Paul Scholes ghosted in. The first time Manchester United have got behind Chelsea, and it comes in the final minute of the first half. Scholes was unlucky. If there was a handball, it wasn't deliberate. And as Melchior moved in, it wasn't an easy opportunity for the England man. That's Paul Scholes' stock in trade that burst into the penalty area from midfield, the way that the former Manchester United favourite Brian Robson used to do. And we've moved into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Chelsea with that narrow lead. There will be a little bit of stoppage time because of the head injury to Frank Leboeuf, the Chelsea central defender. Dwight York amongst the United substitutes. There's going to be 1 minute of stoppage time. That's all to be added on by the referee, Mike Riley. Ball had gone out before Solskjaer helped it back to Giggs. And at the break, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's goal separates the two teams. And it has to be said, Chelsea well worth their 1-goal advantage. Mario Stanic went close twice before Chelsea finally grabbed the lead. His first chance was slightly easier than the second. Chelsea have been sharper in just about every area of the pitch. And I imagine these Manchester United players will be facing stern words from their manager, Alex Ferguson. By comparison, Luca Vialli will be satisfied, as his expression signifies. And the half-time score then in the Charity Shield from Wembley is Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0. And it'll be Chelsea with that 1-goal advantage who will restart the game. This, incidentally, Chelsea's 4th appearance in the Charity Shield. Their only previous success came all the way back in 1955 when they beat Newcastle United. So they've had to wait a long time to have an opportunity of taking this prize. But they're in a very, very good position at the halfway point. It's Barthez with a clearance. Headed away by Leboeuf. Scooped on by Wise. Johnson got in the way for Manchester United. Di Matteo. Locked legs with Scholes, but no foul. Touched on by Keane. Once again, Manchester United just seem to come unstuck in the 25-yard area of the pitch, and it's Poyet helping it onto Hasselbank. And Poyet just wondering why Hasselbank didn't make that burst ahead of him. Slight misunderstanding between the two players. This is Beckham now. Keane. Solskjaer. Solskjaer, who played 3 times for Norway at Euro 2000, but his country were eliminated when Spain scored a 94th minute winner against Yugoslavia in Bruges. This is Ed de Hoy. Stanic with a flick on. Giggs. Chelsea defending so far really has been impeccable. They've looked strong and have been very much in the ascendancy against Manchester United's rather weak attacks. Stanic. And Zola trying to pick out Hasselbank, but Stam was in the way. Giggs. Foul by Desailly, and Manchester United do have a chance now of pushing some players forward here. They've taken the free kick quickly and got Gary Neville in possession. Foul by Babayaro on Beckham. Just sort of Beckham's position to whip over a right-footed cross. See Babayaro play through the back of Beckham. All the big guns for United lined up at the back post. Stam's in there, Sheringham's in there, Jonsson's in there. As Beckham drives it in, Desailly gets it clear, Scholes! And it took a deflection. As soon as it left the boot of Scholes, he saw it just clip a Chelsea defender. You can probably see who it did clip. And that is Mario Melchiot. Corner to United. Here's Giggs. Stamps at the back post. Away by Leboeuf. And there's a foul by Teddy Sheringham on Dennis Wise. It's a free kick to Chelsea. A little bit of consternation at the back there for Chelsea when Jaap Stam planted his header back across the face of goal. Stanic. Melchiot. Barthez. Sheringham offside. Header indeed back to his goalkeeper Barthez. Leboeuf did just about enough there. Babayaro. To Barthez again. The first signs of Manchester United moving up a gear. They're seeing a lot more of the ball than they did in the first half. But that one's cut out by Leboeuf once again. This is Melchiot. And Hasselbaink now. There's Chelsea break. Di Matteo. Hasselbaink. Wise. Stanic. It was Denis Irwin who got the ball out. Referred today to Philip Neville. As Melchiot prepares to take this throw. Incidentally, should the scores be level after 90 minutes of this game, we'll go straight to penalty kicks to decide who takes the Charity Shield home. The no extra time. Should be rather grueling for technically a pre-season game. That's Babayaro's cross, which flies into the shoulders of Gary Neville. The Nigerian Babayaro with a throw for Chelsea. They lead by a goal to nil. This is Zola. Scholes. Melchiot might get there for Chelsea. Tries to pick out Hasselbaink. Melchiot! Lovely move by Chelsea. Not a great deal of power in the shot by Melchiot, but the passing was good enough to unstitch United's defence. Here's Beckham. Desailly's giving it away to Scholes. Sheringham. Giggs on the far side. That was where Sheringham's ball was intended, but Chelsea win it back. And here's Mario Stanic. Stanic helps it on here to Wise. Game's just beginning to open out a little bit more now. Here's Zola. Chased by Yatstam. Jim Devine, the referee's assistant on the far side, wasn't very popular there with the Chelsea fans when he raised his flag. Very solid header there by Desailly. And it's Roy Keane who's been penalised, I think, for a handball. A second Chelsea goal now, and the issue could well be settled. Hasselbaink. Oh, if he'd made contact there, he could have settled it. Just slipped at the vital moment on his standing foot as he tried to swivel round and hammer the ball past Barthez. And now there's a rather hefty challenge by Stanic, which gives Manchester United a free kick, but Hasselbaink was quick off the mark there, saw the possibilities of Zola's free kick. Seasons ago, when Hasselbaink was last in the Premiership playing for Leeds, he ended up the league's top scorer along with Dwight York and Michael Owen of Liverpool. He knows this league, he knows how to score goals in it. And here's Stanic. Zola with Hasselbaink waiting in the middle. Stanic as well, and Poyet. It's Poyet's header. Babayaro. Chelsea just camped inside the United half at the moment rather. Wise. Keane got in the way. And here's Babayaro. A little menace now about this Chelsea attack. Babayaro can swing the ball across. Wise. To help it back to Stanic. It was a good move by Chelsea. And United now can attack. Roy Keane for Manchester United. It was aimed in between Sheringham and Scholes, and Sheringham tries to win it back. Turning into a good game now, as perhaps both teams begin to tie. It's opening up. Di Matteo. Zola. The spectacular Barthez makes the save and feeds David Beckham. Giggs was always likely to score a spectacular goal for United. It's as if the midfield has been cut out of the game, and both teams are trying to attack, at times without safeguard. That's a dreadful ball by Roberto Di Matteo to try and pick out Stanic. But as far as the neutral's concerned, it's a very open game now. Solskjaer. Remember, both meetings of the sides last season delivered 5 goals. I do feel there's a goal or two in this fixture. Beckham. Yaps down. Beckham. And Scholes. Stanic was there with an important tackle. Hasselbank. Poyet. Neat 1-2 off the referee. That's called in off the black. Zola. Di Matteo. Babayara's made a run to his left. Hasselbank, who clattered into the back of Roy Keane. And Keane could well have injured himself or been injured by Hasselbank's tackle. A little bit of finger pointing going on involving Roy Keane, who just caught him on the back of his heel. And this is all getting a bit silly because tempers are becoming flared now, and Barthez has got involved. And Roy Keane wants to take it a bit further. I think David Beckham's trying to act as peacemaker and say, look, if you're injured, you're going to have to leave the field. But Roy Keane is suggesting he hasn't got enough protection from the referee as he hobbles away to the touchline. He's such a fierce competitor, Roy Keane. That competitive edge can just get the better of him. Giggs. Solskjaer. And now Solskjaer and Desailly get involved in a bit of a tangle. Watch out for future developments involving Messrs Keane and Hasselbank. I don't think we've seen the last of that little confrontation, let's put it that way. Roy Keane will take the ball off Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank in the remainder of this game. I think he both the opportunity. He's just trying to shrug off that heel injury. Desailly with the header. Nearly an hour of the game, Chelsea still have that 1-goal advantage. Ryan Giggs for Manchester United. And the referee's patience is being tried to its very limit here. And I think Dennis Wise, who is certainly as competitive as Roy Keane, slightly fortunate not to be shown a yellow card for that tackle on Giggs. Remember, this is where Chelsea had to retreat, a mandatory 10 yards. As Beckham takes the free kick, and it's met by Marcel Desailly. Hasselbank. And Yapstam followed right through the back of him, and there's no foul. Oh, the Manchester United fans enjoyed that all right. As Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink got his comeuppance, as far as they were concerned. Poyet. Dutchman fouling another. There was a foul by Stamp. And there's another incident involving Scholes and Keane. No charity in the Charity Shield. There's a red card for Roy Keane. So often a red mist descends on Roy Keane when he feels he's been hard done by. He had his heels clipped by Hasselbaink and he took it out on Gus Poyet. And Roy Keane, not for the first time in his career, departs the scene. And the applause he can hear is from inevitably the Manchester United fans who are saying goodbye to their skipper. I know what Kevin Keegan makes of it all. Remember, Roy Keane missed the Champions League final against Bayern Munich through suspension. He was determined to stamp his signature on this game after that incident involving Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink. The only surprise is that he ended up taking it out on Gus Poyet rather than the man who did him, Hasselbaink. Well, that gives Chelsea an added advantage. They have a one-goal lead. They have an extra player on the field. And now Ryan Giggs has followed through on Melchiot. And a push on Hasselbaink. It's all getting a bit frenetic now. And any indication of this being little more than a showpiece event has been blown apart by that Roy Keane sending off. The national newspaper claimed that Roy Keane was having counselling to curb his violent temper, something that Keane refuted and has threatened to take legal action over. Beckham. This Charity Shield is threatening to go Chelsea's way. There was a mistake by Babayaro. It's Alex Ferguson, face like thunder. Gary Neville with a throw for Manchester United. Hasselbaink. It's a great ball to pick out Stanic, and a better ball to pick out Zola. And Ronnie Johnson with a fine tackle there. A marvellous move by Chelsea. Started by Hasselbaink and releasing Stanic, and Chelsea looking for a second goal now, but here's Sheringham for Manchester United. Scholes. Melchiot gallops away here for Chelsea. Hasselbaink. Babayaro and Poyet waiting here for Chelsea. Zola's in the middle. It's over Zola's head. And then the onrushing Hasselbaink failed to make contact. Manchester United have had to reshuffle a little bit. What they've done is they put Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on the right-hand side of midfield. Beckham's come infield. They're just playing one up front. And there's the man they're playing up front, Teddy Sheringham. We've reached the three-quarter point of the game. Chelsea still leading by 1-0. And Manchester United have had their captain Roy Keane sent off. Chelsea caught offside, and I'm hearing that Manchester United are about to spring a double substitution with possibly Cole and York coming on. We shall see. This is Scholes. Sheringham. Solskjaer. Sheringham and Solskjaer for Manchester United. Good covering by Chelsea. Leboeuf got in the way. Irwin tries to pick up the pace of the attacker once again. Well, was that a foul by Melchior? Certainly the Dutchman didn't think so. It's going to be a throw into Manchester United, which Dennis Irwin will take. United supporters giving their team terrific vocal encouragement now, and how they need it. This is Giggs. Again, Melchior was the guilty man. And it's Giggs who will take the free kick for Manchester United, possibly Beckham as well. The pair are squaring up over the ball. It's Beckham who drives it in. De Hoy fists it clear. And cleared by Roberto Di Matteo. Look where Barthez is. It's a good ball as well, up towards Sheringham. Barthez has to get back now. Babayaro for Chelsea. It's the last Charity Shield game to be played at Wembley before the Bulldozers move in. And Wembley is rebuilt. Ironically, in the very first Charity Shield game here between Leeds and Liverpool, there was a double sending off involving the Leeds captain Billy Bremner and the now England coach Kevin Keegan, who was here today. So this fixture does have a bit of a history of sendings off, and Roy Keane adds to that band of players dismissed before the season has really gone underway. Zola. And here comes that double substitution we were telling you about. Teddy Sheringham is one of the players who's being brought off. York is the player who replaces Sheringham. It looks like Solskjaer will be the other player to come on. Pretty handy pair to bring on when you're a goal behind, with 20 minutes left. Andy Cole making his 5th appearance in the Charity Shield today. And Chelsea are going to make a switch as well. Roberto Di Matteo, the Italian, is going to be replaced. And it's one of Chelsea's few English players, Jody Morris, who will come on in his place. Jody Morris, who played in this fixture in 1997 against United. He was criticised by club chairman Ken Beats for being indisciplined off the field. A big season for him, trying to fix his reputation and try got a place in this team of international stars. Probably see the sunlight that we had in the first half has made way to driving rain now. The rain might be welcomed by one or two of the players who worked hard at this early stage of the season. Mike York finding it hard to keep his feet on the wet playing surface. Hasselbank being fouled by Stamp. And Poyet drags the ball back on towards Hasselbank, who has a very direct style. Morris to pick out Zola. He does pick out Stanic. Poyet's arriving inside the box, and the ball by Stanic was a disappointing one. Beckham. Cole's offside. Melchiot. Andy Cole has a bit to prove this season. He was omitted from Kevin Keegan's Euro 2000 squad after scoring 22 goals last season. This is Melchiot for Chelsea. He's allowed to go an awful long way, and he's scored! And the Dutchman Mario Melchiot could well have scored the goal, which seals the Charity Shield for Chelsea. Nobody picked up his galloping run. And as the Manchester United defence parted, Melchiot was allowed to shoot and beat Barthez, and it's now Chelsea 2, Manchester United 0. Finally taken goal by Melchiot. Chelsea take a 2-goal lead. They bring on another of their new signings, Ida Gudjohnsen, who replaces Gianfranco Zola, who suggests that he might be puffing and panting a bit. Gudjohnsen, who was Chelsea's second summer signing, he cost £4 million from Bolton. He's a striker, an Icelandic international. And Chelsea leading by 2-0 now. United have a lot of work to do. Graham Massot looks ready to come on as well. Beckham. Should be Ender Hoyer's ball. Poyet. Cole. Mike York for Manchester United. Manchester United are staring at a hat-trick of defeats in this fixture, beaten twice by Arsenal in the last 2 years. Once again, London opposition could well rob them of a chance of starting the season with silverware. Gary Neville ricochets to David Beckham. And here's Giggs trying to slalom his way through the Chelsea defence, which was never going to be easy. Johnson, one of the players Luca Vialli's brought to the club to try and strengthen the team in the attacking department. Scholes, and caught by Hasselbank. Hasselbank will ruffle a few feathers this season, as he's already done in this match. His foul on Roy Keane was key to the eventual sending off of the United captain, which, to my mind, has had a major influence on the game. I'm not sure Chelsea would be 2-0 ahead with Roy Keane still on the field. It was great to see a player overcome injury and eventually get back into the first team. Graeme Le Saux's been sidelined since last October after damaging an ankle against Arsenal. He missed a total of 44 games for Chelsea. He replaces Gus Poyet, and I imagine will slip into the left-hand side of midfield. England would have been delighted to have the services of Graeme Le Saux at Euro 2000. They were very short of options on the left-hand side, both in terms of defence and midfield. But Le Saux was unavailable because of that injury. 14 minutes left of the Charity Shield. Chelsea in a commanding lead. United down to 10 men. And here's Gudjohnsen. To play the ball onto Morris. And here's Babayaro and Le Saux. Le Saux's cross, Hasselbank. And the chances are coming thick and fast now, not only for Chelsea but also Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank will relish having a player of Le Saux's stature whipping in balls like that into the opponent's box. Could easily see Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank turning in 20 goals a season for Chelsea. And with Giggs off, I think the white flag has been hoisted now by Manchester United. Quinton Fortune, the South African international, replaces him. As one left-sided player replaces another. Gudjohnsen pictures out Stanic. Neat 1-2 with Hasselbank. Luca Vialli looks like claiming another trophy. It'll be his 5th since becoming manager of the club. I think it's worth underlining that we shouldn't read too much into Manchester United's performance in terms of the coming season. Now they've done this afternoon, they lost the last 2 Charity Shields but went on to win the title. Last season they won it by a mile, didn't they? Hasselbank will shoot from virtually anywhere. In his time at Leeds he was at times unpopular with his teammates, who accused him of shunning the opportunity to pick out a colleague in a better goal-scoring position, but he hit the target on a regular basis, and that's what you pay a striker for. Gudjohnsen able to get on the end of that one. Barthez. Irwin. Andy Cole, and here's Quinton Fortune for Manchester United. And there for the commanding header. Can United just find a goal to spice up the last 10 minutes of the game? Not like that, they can't. And it's Chelsea voices which can be heard at the moment. There's one of the goal scorers, Mario Malfiot. Hasselbank. picking out Babayaro, and there's Lasseau with Babayaro in support. Chelsea looking for goal number 3. Well, that's a good piece of goalkeeping by Barthez. That's what Manchester United have lacked in the last year, that decisiveness and the ability to turn defence into attack. Lasseau. Leboeuf and Wise. Fortune fouled Wise then. And Lasseau. Good Johnson. And Paul Scholes with a petulant push and a yellow card for him. A little attempt to play the ball as Jody Morris flew past him. Now, Chelsea have a free kick about 30 yards out, and they play the ball to Leboeuf here, but the referee wants the kick retaken. Dennis Wise is looking forward to getting his hands on another prize as Chelsea captain. Trophy number 6 is on its way, one suspects. If United infringe here, the free kick should be moved closer to United's goal. Here's Leboeuf. Wise. Hasselbank. Melchiot. Going goes Manchester United's way. Cole. Well done by Andy Cole. Fortune with a cross, cleared by Desailly. This is Scholes. York and Scholes again. And United's sharpest attack in the last 20 minutes or so. And there's going to be a stoppage here because Frank Leboeuf has gone down. He got the wrong side of a tackle. Andy Cole. Today's attendance, slightly more than 65,000. And it's the blue half of the ground, closer to the near side, which are happier at the moment. United's fans will worry too much if, after losing the Charity Shield, Manchester United go on to take the title. They took it for the 6th time in 8 years at the end of last season. Ripping at the record book, they so much win the title as cruised it. Six minutes left, Chelsea still 2-0 ahead. Scholes. Beckham. Scholes again. Fortune. Turn there. York's shot has been deflected, so it'll be corner to Man United. You know, there's millions of Manchester United fans watching around the world. See whether their side is stronger than last season, if that's possible. And today has been decidedly an off day for them. Beckham with the corner. Neville. Fortune. Back to Dennis Irwin. Trying to pick out Andy Cole. Johnson. Only having 10 minutes, all Manchester United at the moment. Before Morris wins it for Chelsea. And they try to get good Johnson away. York. David Beckham. Quite a few hard days of training at the Manchester United training camp in the coming days, and Alex Ferguson will point to this game as United were outfought by Chelsea. Maybe it was always likely to be Chelsea's day, bearing in mind the amount of money they spent over the summer, £25 million, trying to strengthen the team. They wanted a very positive start to the campaign, and they've got it. Fortune tackled by Morris, and it was a good tackle too. Babayaro. Manchester United only lost 3 times in the league last season. Only Chelsea, Tottenham and Newcastle managed to beat them. They scored goals for fun, especially in the latter half of the season. They really were unstoppable. This is York. But they've got some way to go to reach those heights from this base camp. Beckham. Johnson. Back by Scholes, flicked on by York. And this is Cole. Good move by Manchester United. York's waiting for the cross, and it came off the shin of Marcel Desailly, the French international, and almost flew past a startled Ed de Hoy. And big gap stab, lumbers forward. Beckham. And that's gone out of the head of Frank Leboeuf. Another corner kick to United. United trying to pinch at least what would be a consolation goal. Gary Neville, Scholes, Stamp, Scholes again, trying to pick out Fortune here, who's made a good run. It's come off Fortune according to the referee, but to be honest it looked like it came off Lasseau, and that's why Fortune is looking across towards the referee's assistant with a rather bemused glare. Four minutes of stoppage time to be added on. I imagine a little bit of that was to do with the fracas which surrounded the sending off of Roy Keane, which has slightly marred this FA Charity Shield. It will certainly be the instant which will make most column inches in tomorrow morning's papers. Although Roy Keane gives United that tough, competitive edge, if he's suspended, he's little used to the team sitting on the touchline after serving a suspension. York to play Colin, who was having his jersey grabbed there by Babayaro. And Chelsea can break here once again with Hasselbank, who really has been Manchester United's tormentor over the 90 minutes. Quality of the cross was not particularly good. Scholes. Cole. White York. Paul Scholes, who should be back here for England in October. The final match to be played at Wembley before the stadium is demolished. Scholes. Trying to play a 1-2 with Fortune. The referee gave possession to Chelsea then, and United are flagging as they try to get back in numbers. Melchiot. And Chelsea, as they do so well, happy to hang on to possession. Wise. Hasselbank. Gudjonsson and Hasselbank. Such a vicious shot, virtually no backlift. Scholes. Chested off by Fortune. And Ronnie Johnson. I think Manchester United will be happy to hear the final whistle now. But it's a final whistle which will bring no great joy to United for a change. Two here is Gary Neville. Melchiot. And who knows? Let's give Chelsea some credit. Maybe we're seeing the balance of power shift slightly towards another club in England. Maybe it's going to be much more of a tight title race this season. Maybe Chelsea, with the added impetus of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank in their attack, will be a little bit more game for a fight to challenge Manchester United. Let's not forget Arsenal and Leeds and Liverpool. They'll all be there or thereabouts come the season's end. But today belongs to Chelsea. It's their first Charity Shield success since 1955. They've waited an awful long time, and it's two Dutch players, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and Mario Melchiot, who provide them with the goals, which gives them their first silverware of the season. They're hoping it won't be the last. The first Charity Shield win for Chelsea in 45 years, and their first win against Manchester United at Wembley at a third attempt. Barthez, despite his smile, was very much the busier of the two goalkeepers. And the last domestic game at Wembley ends in success for a London club. We've just been told over the public address system that Gianfranco Zola is the man of the match. And another piece of silverware then for Luca Vialli. The final score then in the Charity Shield from Wembley is Chelsea 2, Manchester United 0. So it's Manchester United up to the royal box first. Jaap Stam, the stand-in captain, in the absence of Roy Keane, who was sent off in the second half, and that really was the undoing of Manchester United. It was the pivotal point of the game. They were chasing the match. And after that sending off for Roy Keane. Chelsea scored a second goal. Their losers' medals presented by the chief guest, His Royal Highness the Duke of York. Got off from Manchester United, picked up losers' medals. They've won this competition 10 times, but number 11 was just one beyond them. You somehow feel that Manchester United will be crowned. A bit of banter going on between Ken Bates and Sir Alex Ferguson, who are having a pop at each other in the English press. And as United return back down the steps with their losers' medals, Chelsea prepared to go up. The FA Charity Shield. It's the 27th Charity Shield match to be staged at Wembley, the 78th overall. In the previous 26 years, the league champions have lifted the shield on 15 occasions. And it's Dennis Wise now who leads Chelsea up to the royal box. And he will get his hands on a 6th trophy for Chelsea, and is their most successful captain ever. Chelsea have waited 45 years to claim a Charity Shield, and they claim the last piece of silverware dished out at Wembley before the stadium is redeveloped and reopened then in May 2003. Chelsea well worthy of their success today. It's their 4th consecutive Wembley win, and the first time they've won the Charity Shield as FA Cup holders. When they won it in 1955, they were champions of England. And Chelsea are the last club side to win a game here before the stadium is redeveloped. And they've done the old ground proud with a convincing victory over last year's champions, Manchester United. A reminder of the final score, and there's one of the goal scorers, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. It ends 2-0 to Chelsea in the 2000 Charity Shield.